as we see with the Australian tomorrow, as Newspoll dropped at around 6:30 Eastern this evening. The headline tomorrow reads that Labor on track for 80 seats. Labor would win government in its own right and secure a modest majority with 80 seats in Parliament if an election were held today, according to the most sophisticated poll conducted across Australia, measuring voter intention in every electorate in the country. According to a special YouGov MRP poll, apologies, not a news poll, commissioned by The Australian and based on a sample size of almost 19,000 voters across the country, the coalition would be reduced to 63 seats, with one Greens MP re-elected, along with 7 independents. That includes Warringah's MPs Ali Steggall and also Bob Katter up in Kennedy. Caleb, is it 2019 all over again? Are we jumping the gun, or do you think that the mood is definitely different in the electorate this time around?
Well, who knows? Because, look, I thought after the last federal election that polling was totally done for. I thought after Brexit that polling was totally done for. I thought after the US presidential election, when Donald Trump was elected, that polling was totally done for. But the news poll that was done in the South Australian state election in March was almost within, 1 percentage point, bang on. It was totally accurate as to what happened in South Australia. So one wonders whether the polling can do the same thing at a federal level. Having said that, seat polling is renowned to be somewhat unreliable, and so to sort of say that there are 80 seats ready for Labor, who knows? But the thinking seems to be within the Labor Party that at the best they could probably do 85 seats, which would very comfortably win them government. And at the worst, they would get 75 seats. Now, at the moment, they've got 68. So if they pick up another 7 seats and they get to 75, that leaves them one short of government. And all they need is a couple of teal independents. You've got the Greens in Parliament anyway. That would get them over the line as a minority government. I still think that a hung Parliament is a live option. But we've seen the polling time and again be wrong, as you said it was in 2019. So who knows? But I think it is pretty clear, though, that there is some level of desire for change. Whether or not that ultimately translates to a change at the ballot box is another question.
Yeah. Leisa, we saw in 2019 that Queensland, your home state, was basically where kingmakers were made. But again, as Caleb said, in state polling recently, even as recent as last year in 2021 with the WA election, it also was pretty bang on. But again, it was a different kettle of fish. I mean, we're at different points in the pandemic. The economies were looking a lot different around the country. What do you think? What do you make of this? 80 seats going to Labor. Is it home and hosed in Queensland at this point in time?
No, and I don't think it's home and hosed anywhere in the country. Obviously, Frydenberg, they're going out there and saying he is the underdog, but are clearly not going to give up. But around the country, I think the big problem with all of the polls will be there'll be a lot of people who are just not saying how they're going to vote. I've spoken to a number of people who have been polled and they just don't say. And the other interesting thing is you have husbands and wives who won't tell each other how they are going to vote. So how are we to believe that they're going to tell some pollster how they're going to vote? So look, until election day rolls around, I really don't think we are going to have any idea how this is going to play, because it is so tight, and it will be eyes on those key seats here in Queensland, as well as a number of other marginal seats around the country. But it'll be interesting to see if we've got a third of the electorate or the voters out there who are undecided, how many of those are going to back those teal independents. That's what I'm really keen to see.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting. We do hope that on May 21 we do get a resolute result, considering the amount of people flocking to pre-poll at this point in time. So it's all mixed messages left, right and centre.